Hi all, it's Barb coming to you from my craft studio. Today I thought I'd do another part of my craft studio organization. This time it's going to be what I'm calling my wall of cubes. This is the wall that faces the front of our house. I'm going to start over in this corner. We'll start up above the cubes on this side. Oops, sorry about that. I got my finger in front of the lens. Didn't mean to do that. I have slat wall, and on it I have, on the top row there is my Stampin' Up. They're mainly mounted stamps. There are a few like photopolymer or whatever, the unmounted type, but mostly it's mounted ones. The bottom row, the beginning section there, I have most of those stamp sets in 5x7 photo, like iris style cases. I found those worked pretty well because a lot of mine didn't have the nicer Stampin' Up cases. There are a few of those up there, and then the middle row has my mounted stamps that are sets that aren't Stampin' Up, and then it's got 5x7 Totally Tiffany fab files, which have my card bases and mats. Those mats I use for 5x7 cards and for photo matting for scrapbooking, so I kind of have them organized by color. I still need to kind of label those a little better, but they're at least temporarily labeled. The pink bag there with the pink handle is a Totally Tiffany Katie bag that has some slimline card bases in it. She's supposed to be coming out with a fab file that size, and I want to switch to that once she does. And then I go into the 4x6 fab files, which have my A2 card making bases and mats, which I use those a lot. A lot of times if I'm scrapbooking and I need a photo mat or a small journaling thing, I'll come over here and grab the color I want out of there since they're already cut to size. The very end there is a 6x6 paper handler. It's right here. That has some 6x6 paper. I mainly use oops, sorry about that. Watch my lens again. I mainly use 6x6 paper for photo making, or some of my seasonal ones are for their double-sided. I use them for making pinwheels. So since I just use that for card making, I just put it here with my card making supplies because that made the most sense to me. Now, on top of the cubes, maybe I'll try to do the whole way down here. At the very end there, you can see my power thing right there. Underneath it, there's a little cube that I got at Michael's. It holds some pens and also sitting on top of it are some swatch books for American Crafts and Basil. The Dreaming Tree projects, he always uses American Crafts, and if I kind of want to do the project close to the color, I've got the swatch book so I can kind of look up and see what the color is, and I can see how close I can get to it because I don't have any of the American Crafts branded. Though Basil is made by American Crafts, it's not specifically that brand. And then here I've got this cube unit that my father-in-law made for me. I was going to try to do my paper in that. The first couple he made me weren't big enough. I'm like, oh, these won't hold 12 by 12 papers. The walls were too thick. So he made me a couple more. I said, I'll use the other ones too. So I do have them somewhere that I am using them for something. I forget what. But I pretty quickly realized that wasn't going to be near enough for my paper. I guess I could have used them for my themed paper, but that would have been about it. So I just decided to use them for something else. So I've got my washi tape in there. I made little trays. At one time I had them on a Cavissol letter tray, but I switched them to that because I needed the letter trays for my Real Memory Keepers punch boards. Here, that box there is a Crafter's Companion stationery set. Oops, sorry about that. That came with the stamp binder. I got the stamp binder. It's right there. It's that one with the little dots on it. But I didn't get the auto ship on it. And that's a Crafter's Companion. I can't remember what they call it. I have never used it. I need to get it out and mess with it and decide whether I'm keeping it or not. I thought it looked so cool when I seen it on HSN, and I found it on clearance somewhere, so I picked it up, and I've never used it. This binder here is a Totally Tiffany Canvas Craft binder. One of my themes is card making, so I put sentiments that I would use for card making, dies that make card bases, anything that I would pretty much only use on cards goes in that. Then I have some binders here. This one says card types. It tells how to make different types of cards. That one has sketches for layouts of cards. Someday I'm going to start going through those and like try to challenge myself to do 1 or 2 a week out of that, just to kind of broaden my horizons or whatever. The blue one has my PDF printouts of cards from Dreaming Tree. And then the next one has Crafter's Companion. They have a lot of downloads, so I print a sample so that I know what they look like, so that if I want to print out some of their paper or whatever, I can do it. This is an 8x8 fab file. It's got some 8x8 paper pads in it. This is one of Tiffany's 12x6 full files. I do want to order either some paper takers in 6x6 or fab files in 6x6 and get those out of there so that I can use that for something else. I'll cover, I suppose we could go to the top of the rest of it. This is my scrap rack. I have a 4 base scrap rack. Oops, sorry, I keep getting my finger in the way of that. I'm trying to hold this where I don't shake too much, and I keep getting my finger in front of the camera lens. But it starts out with my alphabet and wow section. I didn't keep too many alphabets. I only kept a few because I found I went to my Cricut more than I went to the letters in my scrap rack, so I didn't keep that many. I gave most of those to my daughter to use. The kids in her classroom can use them for things. So I tried to get them all organized for her, and then I gave them to her and said, here. And then my themes A to Z. I don't know if you'd want to see that or not. We could kind of go through it real quick. Let's see if I can turn it back. I would love to have the, well, I actually have the space. I don't have the, because I could move some of those things. I'd like to add one more base in, but not add any more spinders. Just extend what I have out a little bit more so it sits a little flatter. See, this is my alphabet. I got my stencil representations there, and got some stamps in there, and these are thicker alignment guides. See, I kept a few alphabets, but not many. Then it goes into words of wisdom, which this is mainly a cataloging theme. There are a few things in there, but anything that's words that could be used on something that isn't theme specific. So if it's if it's a word that's Christmas, I tend not to put it in here because I would only use those for Christmas. So if they're very theme specific, they're not in my wow. Otherwise, they're in there. I need to go, one of my goals this challenge is to go through my scrap rack and see about cleaning out a little bit and getting out the pages that aren't Tiffany. Then my themes start here. I use a lot of washi tape to kind of label the side. This is my animal themes. So I have animals. I kind of subdivided the animals down by pets, insects, zoo, that type of thing. Then I've got baby, my baby. Birthday. Cooking and food. Decades. I put anything that really looked kind of retro in there, like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Now, and then I have a designer section, and it's subdivided down by different designers. Like this here is Anna Griffin. So I have Anna Griffin. There's a Crafter's Companion. There's a Diamond Press. I keep my Julie Nutting stamps right in the scrap rack. This section I entitled Disney, but really I have any licensed image in here that I would consider licensed images. While these ones are kind of a takeoff on Game of Thrones, I put it there because that's where I'd look for it, would be under the licensed image. It's really Disney and other licensed image now, though there's a lot of Disney in there. And then I have education, which includes anything childhood or teenager. This section I mainly use when I'm making stuff for my daughter. This one's family and friends. Garden. Garden is used a lot for cataloging because I don't put most of my little flowers in there. I put most of those in my rainbow. But you have a lot of stamps, dies, stencils that make flowers that don't have a color yet, so they get represented in my garden section. I have a health section because someday I am going to do a health scrapbook about my journey to getting a diagnosis. Then I have home and house. Paper dolls is anything that clothing or people. That's just what I called it. I think it includes my men section too. So anything that's got like little people went in my paper doll section, even though technically they're not paper dolls. But then I have like googly eyes in there and smiley faces. I put my footprints in there because I figured that worked. I have a planner section for things I would use for my planner. This one's popping out. I got to fix that. I have a postal section. I have a religion section, but it's very small because it's not something I use a lot, but I do have it. So if I'm making a card for somebody that I know would appreciate that type of card, I can do it. My shape section is for cataloging purposes only. It's pretty huge because, I mean, you get a lot of things like this that are just different shapes, in stamps and dies and, you know, stencils and all that. So I catalog those, but like if I have this bunting, if I had it like stamped out, or if I had a die that made it, I wouldn't put that in here if I didn't use it right away. I'd either put it in the rainbow, or if I made it out of like birthday paper, I'd put it in my birthday section. This is just my shapes category is just a cataloging section. Which there's more for the shapes. I think it takes up 3 binders. Sports, and then I subdivide. I think I might subdivide down a little bit by sports. And then I have transportation, which is, you know, basically anything that moves. I have vacation. I named mine vacation rather than travel because that's what I think of it. It's a very small section for me. I have wedding. I need to put a note on my wedding because I have a huge iris container full of wedding stuff that I bought when my son got married because I was going to do an album for him, and well, didn't happen. And then we go into my rainbow section. I have pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, gray, brown, black, and then multi-clear. That section includes things that either have a lot of colors on the background, and I didn't separate them up like this. I didn't want to cut all those apart, so I just put it here. I know to look in this section. And then I also have, I don't know, see any of them right now, but I guess maybe I don't have any right now. But if I had something that I could make whatever color I wanted, like if I had a clear embellishment that you could like color with a Copic and make it any color you wanted, it would go in that section. Or if I had chipboard stuff, it'd go in that section, because depending on what I do with it, it goes there. And behind my scrapbook rack, I keep my Totally Tiffany hang and hold boxes. They're empty, but I wanted to keep the boxes. This one has overflow of cooking stuff. And this is my Sweet Stamp Shop sticker sheets. And this one is my Kindred stamp sets. I just didn't have room to put those. I went a little longer than I intended. Back here in my cubes, we'll go through these real quick. That cube has sewing stuff in it. That one has lights, like fairy lights for shadow boxes or glass blocks. This has like specialty paper. There's crepe paper, felt. Some of it's not paper, obviously, felt. It has specialty materials, I guess I should say. Washi sheets. Trying to think what else is there. But they are labeled. Party foils there. A few other types of things like that are there. The bottom has 3 12x12 boxes that have projects in them. There's 2 of them are cat pictures. I don't remember what's in the third one, but it might be empty right now, actually. This container here that has quilling stuff. The red container there is a 31 container. It has my Bright Pad in it. I think it was designed for a laptop, but it was the perfect size for my Bright Pad, so I got it for that. Those 2 containers there are, I think those are paper handlers. They have, you know what, I think they're vinyl roll organizer when I think about it. One has HTV aids like Teflon sheets, and I think it has ready-made iron-ons in it too. And the next one has like transfer tape for adhesive vinyl, and then my pink vinyl's there. I did just move my vinyl so that the vinyl's the first thing in my paper section, and I labeled it with the color, and then I go into my paper. And the bottom one there is foiling supplies, like my We Are memory keepers, foil quill, the one that works in Cricut and Brother Scan and Cut, or the handheld one are down. Those are down there along with the foils, and the one has a kit that I got from HSN for the foil quill too, for card making. And then my pink paper. How I do my paper is one container has my scraps in 8.5 by 11 and like my cheaper 12x12 that the colors don't have a name. And then I have my named colors, my pattern paper, my specialty paper. I think that's it. That's kind of how I do within each color. So I got pink, red, orange, yellow, green. I start my blue there, and then the last cube has themes. I put my themes in the corner because I don't get into those quite as much, but it's easy enough to move the card out of the way and get back there when I need to, but I don't use it as much, so I figured I wanted it all the way in the corner. The rest of my blue, purple, white, gray, brown, black. There's a multi one there, and then the rest of my themes. I have my paper cart here. This is a Totally Tiffany paper cart. I think I'm going to do a separate video on what I have in my different carts, but I'm going to show you this one real quick because of all the paper there. This has my Valentine, spring, summer, fall, and then the paper for those categories there. I have a second paper cart that is all winter and Christmas, mainly Christmas, but it's in the closet because what I do is I switch it out which one I'm using. It's not easy to get those switched now with the way the room is, but I can do it. And then up above, eventually I want to put my diamond dots, my Wonder Woman and Cinderella on there, but I haven't done those yet. So for right now, I have these magnetic sticker things that I got on HSN, and then you put a magnet, you stick those on your surface, and then you can stick a magnet over the part where that sticker is. So I've just been hanging up. Some of those are 12x12 pattern paper that I got, and some are calendars that I got at Dollar Tree that I like the sayings on, so I just matted them on 12x12 paper. And I change those out like once a month. I change to a different season or different inspirational saying. I like the sayings, and it just kind of looks better than a plain wall there right now until I get the other part done. Over in the corner, my father-in-law made that wooden unit, and that has my Wonder Woman and Sleeping Beauty stuff in it. So above the room, I don't know how well I can get up there. There's plate rail all around. I think I've shared that before, but those were my mom's cups, so I put them up there. And then there's some pictures of my family there. And over here, there's some Cinco de Mayo stuff up there. Oops, sorry about that. My battery is getting low. But the Cinco de Mayo stuff, I have that because my birthday's May 5th, so I tend to want to purchase that stuff when I see it, just because it's my birthday. But anyways, that's all I've got to share today. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.